see here. Put that there. Make it smaller, but I don't mind it covering my face right now, as long as you see the guitar. All right. Running a little late here. Trying to do this. Okay, that's at the Discord. So if you go to the Discord link there, that's the invite link. I don't know if you have to be approved to be invited, or if you can just immediately, if you click on that, you can join it. But that's what you might call a basic bossa groove. Brazilian music, bossa novas and things like that. Sambas are often written in 2/4. Boom, pa, 1, 2, a 1, 2. You know, that kind of feel, and so it's kind of it's. I mean, it's not any different than 4/4 technically. Two bars of 2/4 is the same as 4/4. But the bossa music I found that's legitimate bossa nova Brazilian music is often written in 2. When they westernize it, like they do a jazz standard or something, they'll put it in 4/4. And probably just because, I don't know, it's 4/4 bars don't go by as fast as 2/4 bars. I mean, the same tempo, it doesn't matter. But the other thing you can do is you could count those 2/4 bars in 4/4 if the 16th notes are kind of freaking you out. I wonder if there's a way in Finale I can just double the value of everything. I think there is. If I just highlight everything, I might be able to do that and then post that. If it's easy to do, I'll post it. But in other words, you just double the value of every note. When you do that, the 16th notes become eighth notes, and the eighth notes become quarter notes. And so it's a little bit easier to read quarter. It's a little psychologically, it's easier to read quarter notes and eighth notes than it is eighth notes and sixteenths, even though you're playing the exact same rhythm. So, good morning, everyone. Good morning, Bruce. Thank you, Bruce. Thank you, Holly, for being here. Sam. Yeah, we just got a few people. Let me go back. Let me go to last week's lesson. Let's see. Like I said, I uploaded this to the Discord, so you can print it up if you want, or open it up as a PDF and have it there on another screen or something. I'm going to go to the previous lesson and get rid of all the ads. Okay, I apologize for all the ads that YouTube puts in there. I don't want that many. Let's see if they did. I haven't checked. I did do a new video this week. I don't know if you saw that. Probably did. Most of you are... Oh, no, that's this one. Last week. Edit. Oh, cancel. Monetization. Manage mid rolls. Yeah, look at. It's weird. They didn't put any ads in for the first like 25 minutes, and then it's just like a billion ads. So I'm taking out all the ads, and I'm probably gonna. The lessons are going to be a little shorter. Now I'm gone the next 2 weeks. The next 2 Mondays I won't be here. So this will be the last lesson for 3 weeks. But let's see. Oh, I'll put one here too at the end. Well, nobody's going to go to the end, but if they do. Okay, save. All right. So I got rid of all the ads and just put one in every half hour or so. Is there one at the beginning? I can put one at the beginning. There we go. Now, save. I don't know what you're going to do. Hey, Ken, what's going on? Good to see you, man. Happy Memorial. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, now we should have more people, right? Or people doing stuff. Like, are they out of town for the weekend? I don't know. Oops, gosh darn it. Grab the wrong element. Here we go. Yeah, I got more room over here. It looks a little bit better over there. I'm going to make that big again in a second when we're going over. Let's go over the chords. There's 4 chords in this song. 2 ninth chords. We have D9 and D flat 9. And then we have D minor 9 and we have C6 9. All right. C6 9. And the reason it's called C6 9 is because it's a C6 chord with a 9th added. There's no 7th in it. There's no major 7th. There's no dominant 7th at all. If it had a 7th in there and the 6th and the 9th, you'd call it a 13th chord. It would be a C13th chord. But because it just has a 6th and 9th, it's this A and this D. The A is the 6 and the D is the 9. All right. So if we were to take a C major scale and count up 6 notes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, you get A. If you count up 9 notes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, oops, 7, 8, 9. You get that D. Okay, you also get the D here as a second. So you could you could call this a C6 add 2. That's not what it's usually called. And I call it the Elvis chord. You can add your pinky on top if you want. The nice thing about this is that this fingering here. And so basically I'm playing 3rd fret, 2nd fret, 2nd fret, 3rd fret, 3rd fret. Okay, and that's C6 9. I'll put C6/9. Nothing on the bottom, then 3, 2, 2, 3, 3. That's one way you can play it. The way we're playing it, we're not playing the top string. We're playing the middle 4 strings. So you don't need to worry about the pinky there, okay? Excuse me. But if you put the pinky there and play it like this, okay, so this is our root, right? That C note is our root of the chord, C6 9. And we have every note in here. We have a root, 3rd, 5th, 6th, 6th, and a 9th. Like I said, there's no 7th in here. Not supposed to be. Now, if we take that up, okay, move the bass note down to G there. And if you move that bass note all the way up to C, now you've got another C6 9. And if you bar 3 strings instead of just these 2, you could play just those 2. Or all, you could do all 3 of those here. So it would be, what's that? 8, 7, 7, 7, 8, 8. That's also C6 9. We have a duplicate. We have 2 roots. We have C up here and a C up here. But that's also an Elvis chord. It kind of has that last chord of a song kind of vibe to it. Okay. So the other C6/9. The other C6/9 or C6/9 chord is up here, and I said it was 8, 7, 7, 7, 8, 8, like that. I call it the Elvis chord. I think, did I do a video on that? I may have. Let me see if I can. You guys want to see an old video of me? Holy cow. Let's see. YouTube, where are you? Okay. Search. Yep, the Elvis chord. From 2003. Oh my gosh. So when did I do this video? copy. Let me go back. It said the date there, but it doesn't. Oh no, what happened? Elvis. Okay, so almost 10 years ago. But here's the video I did on the Elvis chord. If you're so, just out of curiosity, let's see if it's gotten any views in the last. I see analytics. Whoa, 2 views in the last 28 days. No revenue though. Okay, from inception, I always like to do this. Let's see, oh, here it is. Inception, from since uploaded, lifetime. In 10 years, I've made how much money on this? $2.91 on that video. I've gained 5 subscribers though. And for some reason, it spiked and like I got a few views there. But anyway, yeah. So not like I'm making a lot of money doing this. So. Yeah, there's certain chords that kind of give you, recall certain feelings or artists, and that, like I said, the Elvis. There's shoot, what's it called? Not swing. A rockabilly lick. It's kind of like that thing. Hard to do, mainly because you got to strum it and move it. It's like what Django Reinhardt would get really good at is he would get really good at moving one finger, plucking every fret as he moved across the frets. It's really hard to do. And that's kind of that lick. He's starting on the 5 chord in this case where I'm in the key of D. And I'm doing this, basically this is an A9 chord. And then it's even faster. I've seen that written on a chart, and I'm like, how do I play that? I'm like, how do I play it? It just looks like a mess. And having that timing where you're hitting the strings at every fret change as you move, just slide your hand up the neck. It's not really. Once you have this chord down, it's just like going like. It's going like that, you're just sliding a chord up. You can do it with any chord. Do it diminished chords. Django would do that. So anyway, that's kind of a non sequitur. But that chord totally reminds me. That 6/9 chord totally reminds me of kind of an Elvis or rockabilly vibe. The 9th chord, the 2nd chord in the song, in this particular bossa nova example, it's a 9th chord, and like 9th chords always make me think of James Brown, right? I've always, I could literally take a 4-piece horn section and have them play each one of these notes, trombone, or maybe the tenor sax, alto sax, and the trumpet, and it would just be a horn section idea right there. And or you can maybe the 5th on top, so move everybody up a note and a chord. And so I always think of that 9th chord as kind of being the James Brown chord. I don't really have an artist that I associate with a minor 9th chord. Like this is technically a minor 9th chord. Really. Don't really. It conjures up a lot of visuals and emotions and things like that, but not a particular artist. But like the Hendrix chord, the sharp 9. So we have the 6/9, which is Elvis, the 9th chord, which is James Brown, and then we have the the Hendrix chord, which is the 6/9 chord. I mean the sharp 9 chord. We have the minor 7th. See, the minor major 7th add 9, which is James Bond chord. What other chords do I have? Oh, I always think of minor 11ths as being kind of the Andy Summers chord. The Police, like. I always think of that as being kind of an Andy Summers thing. I don't know if I ever did a video on that. I always think of the 11 chord, or actually more appropriately, what do we call that? See, if it's a root in the bass, it's root. Third in the bass, it's first inversion. Fifth in the bass is second inversion. Seventh in the bass is third inversion. Ninth in the bass is fourth inversion. So fourth inversion chords always make me think of Earth, Wind, and Fire. I don't know what. I can just hear the horns doing that. In fact, when I was having to demo a guitar synthesizer, I pull up the horn sound and I play that, and it was just like, oh my gosh, I don't know why that sounds like Earth, Wind, and Fire to me, but it just does. Okay, so the shape, the sharp 9 is also the flat third, yeah, but they call it the sharp 9. You get that major 7th interval, which is kind of interesting. But yeah, you would call it the sharp 9, because otherwise then you have to go, well, it's a major with a flat third and a 7th, and so you don't want to have 2 thirds in a chord. You want to try to come at it kind of backwards or from a different direction, so you don't have to over-explain things. But kind of why when I if I were to tell you to play A flat 7 flat 5, I would say that's an E double flat. I wouldn't call it a D, because if you say, oh yeah, the D note, that's the 11th. No, the D note is the flat 5. Oh, you mean E double flat? Yeah, E double flat. So it sounds weird. It's like if I played D. If I called this a D sharp major 7th, this is a G note. No, it's an F double sharp. Because again, when you're doing chord theory, you want to make sure that you're doing everything in thirds, and that's where that sharp 9 comes in, Sam. You've got the root to the third is a third, third to the fifth is a third, fifth to the 7th is a third, and the 7th to the 9th is a third. So everything's explained and arrived at by thirds. Now there are exceptions, of course. There are chords like you might do a G. Let's see. Yeah, you might do something like a G. Here, I can do it here. Let's see. Like this chord, 0 1 0 1 1 1. That would be an E7 flat. E7 flat 9 sharp. Sorry, E7 flat 5 sharp 5 flat 9. So I have both a flat 5 and a sharp 5 in here. So you would call it both of those. Hey, who's here? Oh, hey, Kid Flash Tess. What's going on? Nice to see you. New person. We're gonna gang up on you now. So I'm trying to get to the teaching a little sooner. So we'll finish a little sooner, which is good for all of us. We shouldn't be sitting around staring at a computer screen for 2 hours every Monday. Come on. But I feel bad because I know you like the interaction that happens there. In fact, I could just leave the second hour and you could just keep talking amongst yourselves. The problem is I might forget. You're on. Although I could turn off the camera and leave the live stream up for you all to chat on. But yeah, I occasionally get complaints, and they're not unfounded, by that I talk too much. And I don't think they necessarily mean I talk. It's stupid to. I get that complaint a lot on my YouTube videos, but that's kind of stupid because it's a video. I'm teaching, so I got to talk. Oh, nice. You heard I was a great teacher. Well, we'll see. This is the thing that I'm showing that we're working on right now is Bossa Nova grooves, and we did this was the one we did. Yeah. Let's see. easy, actually. Just take you make a little chord. I'm actually doing it with these two fingers because they just are comfortable fitting on the fretboard. You could do it with your first two if you want. And just slide it down. That's a little bit more interesting. You could even do it in the middle. What would that sound like? See? That didn't work, but this, that going to the seventh might work. And that's got a little bit of syncopation in there. But anyway, that's what we did the last couple weeks, and then this one we actually touched on last week. But so let me show you and if you have a nylon guitar, that's what typically bossa nova's played on. Not always. Oh, you're in Seattle visiting. Oh, fun. So glad. I'm gonna be up in Spokane this summer to visit my daughter. She and her husband, we're going up there. So that'll be fun. I've never been to Spokane. I've been to Seattle. Loved Seattle. But that was a long time ago. It was 97 when I went to Seattle. And it was a massive clinic I taught. Man, I had 200 people in that clinic. People were literally standing on the windowsills in that clinic. So it was crazy. And that was at the end of that was the last clinic I taught the first year I taught clinics. And I was so nervous the first couple ones I did. But by the end of the year, I was like an old pro at that point. And I was fearless. And it was a great clinic. We had a great time. I remember that. So the chords I'm doing here, okay, again, there's 4 chords in this arrangement, okay. Let me make this bigger so you all can see it. So you don't need to see my face. All right. There's that C6-9. There's a D9. There's also a D flat 9, which is the same chord moved down. Okay, I'll try to keep my hand in view. I'll try not to do this. Okay. And then also D minor 9, so a minor. Now, the great thing about these chords is they're all movable. So this is C6-9, this is C sharp or D flat 6-9, this is D9, D6-9, E flat 6-9, E6-9, F6-9. So every time I show you one of these chords that doesn't have open strings in it, you're learning 12 chords. I always love maximizing my knowledge. Okay, so here's the notes in a C6-9 chord. Okay, so C, 6 and /9. It's nothing on the bottom, but we're gonna I'll put the bottom note in parentheses because we're gonna go to that note. So you should know that. Boom, and then there, and then X. So the way we're voicing this C6-9 is like this. And so what I'm using is I'm putting my second finger here on the C note. All right, don't flip off your audience. And then I'm taking my first finger and I'm barring the 5th or 4th string and the 3rd string at the 2nd fret. These strings are getting old. Okay. And then I'm putting my 3rd finger here. You see that? On the 3rd fret of the 2nd string. Again, you can put your pinky there, but you don't need to because we're only playing with our right hand. See over here, look at my right hand. Thumb and 3 fingers. So, and then the very first beat of the song is all 4 of those together. And then answer with the 3 fingers. And just practice that if you can get this chord down. You can do it with a C chord. Anyway, that's not what we're doing. Okay, so this is the C6-9 chord, and again, that's completely movable. You've learned 12 chords. Boom. The social finger. Yeah. Now, you could play this. You could play this without moving the bass line. Okay, but that's what we're doing. And that was the pattern we did the first week of this 2 weeks ago. We went. Or so it was 1, 1 and 2 E, 1 and 2 E. Okay, That you could play that pattern all the way through this song, which means you would get rid of that syncopation at the end of the bar. And that would sound like this. The same song without that anticipation going into every bar. So that would sound like this. That would be a simplified version. I wish I'd kind of done that one almost in some ways, because this one looks more complex than it should. Again, because of the 16th notes. You could even not do the bass line. So you would do thumb and fingers together, and then fingers, and then thumb, fingers, like that. 1 and 2 E. And what's happening with that anticipation? All right, and I can make this smaller. Okay, what I'm going to do, I can do over here. Boop, duplicate this. Take the copy, and I'm going to crop it. So we're just looking at this here. Crop. Get as tight as I can get it here. Okay, crop, save. Now hopefully you'll be able to see this. Okay, so I can make this really small. I'll keep it on the screen so I can use it later. Put it down here maybe. All right, and then I grab this, and this is just the first bar. And so this kind of gives you the, which side has more room? My hair. I want you to see the hair. All right, so something like that. Ugh, gosh darn, it's just a little on the big side. I could totally make it smaller, but hopefully you can still read that. But if we were to take the, let's see these, let's see, can I point to it? I don't know if I can point to it. Okay, boop, that's so hard. It'd make a horrible weatherman. See this anticipation right here? If I move those over to here, then it would be the same as this bar here. So you would have, and again, watch my right hand, thumb and fingers together, 3 fingers, thumb, okay, 1 and 2 E. Now you could do it with no chord on it. You could just go, and it's going to take you a while. These 3 fingers are almost touching each other, really. They're really just like, if you just put your hand like this, they're almost exactly the right distance to grab these 3 strings, okay? You don't need to separate your fingers, anything. It's real comfortable. It's a very closed position. And one of the things I used to do when I was teaching beginners, before their first lesson, I would try to play guitar left-handed, which I can't do. And that would remind me where they're coming from. And I probably should tune. Oh, not bad. Okay. And so I apologize if I make assumptions about your abilities or I go too fast. It's really hard not to do that. I've been playing for 53 years, almost 53 years this summer, so a long time. So you get to a certain point where you're just like, oh yeah, so just do this. So if you want to simplify that, you can just go. And slowly speed it up if you want. So again, thumb and fingers together, fingers by themselves, thumb by itself, and then fingers again, answering, kind of like an echo. Boom, bam, 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 bam. And that's so Brazilian, that's so bossa right there. Such a sexy feeling, I'm feeling really sexy right now, regardless of how I look. It takes me back to the 60s, okay? And then as soon as you go to this as soon as you go to that D9 chord, that F sharp, it's like, oh, we're not in the key of C, we're kind of in the key of G, I guess. And then we go back to the key of C, and then we go to like, what the heck, you know? And I can explain the harmony that's going on here, okay? I can do that in a second, so just to give you, for any of those interested in that. But yeah, we've got this. Get that down, okay? Then if you want to do the anticipation, that looks like this. And that's a little tough, because then what we're doing, we're taking this, you know, the same separation we're doing here on the second beat, 1, 2E. We're kind of doing the opposite. We're going of 1. So it's, you can break up quarter notes into 4/16ths, 1E and 2E, and that's how you break them up. So if we're just talking about 2/8 notes, you go 1 and 2 and 1 and. So if I just played these with that, let's see, if I went, there's nothing bossa about that, right? Isn't that weird? I'm playing just pure 8th notes instead of any 16th. Now, technically, that's basically what's happening, but the only thing really is, instead of being that chord at the end there, instead of it being on the and of 2, it should be on the E of 2, like that. And then all of a sudden, you move that chord over 1/16th note, and it turns it into a whole nother thing. Now, let's play that whole first bar there. Oh, except we're not going to move the bass line. Okay, keep the bass note here on the second. Oh, nice. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, we're actually not on the bottom 3, or top, or I would call it top 3 strings, but I know what you mean. We're actually going to be in the middle of the fretboard. It's really warm in there. You know, it's like, I can play up here, but there's no third. The third's on the D string. On all of these chords, the third is on the D string. So, you know, having that third gives you your tonality. Because if you did this, you wouldn't hear the difference between D7 or D9 and D minor 9, because the note that's moving is on a string you're not even plucking. So with Travis pattern, you know, actually, and the thing about Travis pattern is it's kind of doing the same thing with the bass, right? Root, 5th, that the Bossa Nova thing is, except we're typically in Bossa Nova, we go root and down to the 5th, like this. See, we're going down. In Travis, you would still go down, but I think I hear this 5th up there, and then root 5th, 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 root 5th, 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 or hey, Jan. Hey, Wendy. Sorry, I'm not saying hi to everybody, have I? I'm sure I'm not said. I think I said hi to Sam. I don't know. Yeah, my hair is just like, that's what it's literally what it looked like when I got out of bed. I didn't do anything with it. It's just like, okay, I got to get coffee, and then I got to come here. Actually, I had to do I had to create these files here for the lesson. But let's just try to do the first bar. So what we're going to do is we're going to play the chord and thumb, fingers and thumb together, and then fingers, then thumb, fingers, fingers. Okay, so it's thumb and fingers together, fingers, thumb, fingers, fingers. So this is the pattern. And so it's just like we're letting that hang into the second bar. 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay? If you can get that, you're probably going to be able to get the syncopation. You'll start to hear that bum 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 bum. which is another song. But that's the kind of rhythm that's happening here, okay? So, okay, again, that the way I'm fingering this chord again is second finger on the third fret of the fifth string, first finger getting the second fret of the fourth and third string, and then I'm putting my third finger on the third fret of the second string. Exactly. That's a great movie. I love the Coen Brothers. So, let's see. Okay, so again with the fingers, the right hand, we got thumb and fingers together, and then just answer it with the fingers. Then thumb fingers. All right. Let's do the simpler version. So the 1 and 2 E. So many pattern picking, almost infinite. Okay, now let's try that with the bass note moving. So let's get this, we do this. So now you're gonna do that, the 2E with a different bass note. Bass, chord, bass, chord, bass, chord, bass, chord. And that would be a simplified version of this. So I could play that with all of the chords in the song, all 8 bars of it, I could play like that. That would be a simplified way to play it. You get that down first, and then you can try to add that anticipated chord. And it's hard. At first, it's not, the first 2 bars isn't so hard because you're staying on the same chord. Watch this. See, I'm not moving. But the next bar, you're anticipating the chord change. So anytime there's a chord change, you're going to get to the chord a 16th note before the bass note is. So watch this. Right there, that was a 16th note. That was the E of 2E. No, sorry, the of 2. A 1, a 1, a 1. So we're getting and then we start the pattern over again. But it's cool. That's super duper Brazilian to anticipate the chords like that. Just. Oops. All right, so what's the second chord? Okay, and I don't even need to change this. The chords are going to change, but the rhythm's going to stay the same. So the next chord is D9, and basically, I wrote this out last week, but D9. All right, and this one does have a 7th. All right, don't worry, there won't be a quiz on any of this stuff. I'm not going to ask you, is there a 7th in a D9 chord? Okay, that's basically how I'm playing it. The parentheses note is the bass line movement. Okay, and the fingering I'm doing on this is second finger on the 5th fret of the 5th string, first finger on the 4th fret of the 4th string, and then third finger on the 5th fret of the 3rd string, and pinky is on the second string at the 5th fret also. So 3 of the 4 chords are on the 5th fret. All right, and the notes we have here are D, F sharp, C, and E. Again, no quiz on this, but for those of you interested in understanding the chord, if we want, a 9th chord has 5 notes in it. A 7th chord has 4 notes. A triad has 3 notes. That makes sense, right? So the triad here is D, F sharp, A, but we're not playing an A. You don't need the fifth. The fifth is the first note you can get rid of if you're running out of fingers. But we are playing the fifth in the bass. So technically, in the course of one measure of the D9 chord, we're playing all 5 notes of the chord. All right? Oh, what did I do? What did I say? Did I touch my face? Boy, everybody caught it though. So wow. How can your neighbor hear you? Are you playing electric guitar, Joseph? Or acoustic guitar? Can't imagine. Oh, the quiz. Oh, there won't be a quiz. Right. Sorry, I forgot about that one. It's a drinking game. If I say there won't be a quiz on something, everybody takes a sip. A celebratory sip, actually. Okay, so we have a D, F sharp, and the A is the fifth. Okay, and then if we keep going up a third from the A note, we get the C note, and we go a third up from the C note, we get E note. So that's, chords are built on thirds. It's kind of, if you map out the scale, you play the whole scale. In this case, a D mixolydian scale, and you map it out. You go skip a note, skip a note, skip a note, skip a note, and you play all the notes in a D9 chord, and that's how you get to a D9 chord. 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9. All right. All right. So again, stacking thirds. Exactly right. That's right. And if you want to go to the 11th chord, you go to the 9 would lead to the 11th, and the 11th would lead to the 13th, and you'd end up with a 13th chord. And that's basically how you build chords. It's kind of that simple. People get so confused by it. Now, the thing is, what scale do you use to create each of those chords? That's a different thing. It depends. And every scale will have, every diatonic scale will have 7 different chords in it. And 7 different triads, and 7 different 7th chords, and 7 different 9th chords, and 7 different 11th chords, and 7 different 13th chords. You don't need to know all those. Usually, you learn chords as you learn them. I always, it's a great example of the Beatles. Like John and Paul would get on a bus and go across Liverpool because they heard a kid had a new chord they didn't know. Oh, I heard Jimmy learned a new chord. Oh, let's go check it out. And it was probably like, I don't know, it might have been like the E chord that I see John playing every now and then. Like, that's the E chord they probably play, but then this one, okay, that's cool. I think, probably at some point it was a D7 chord or A minor 6, or, who knows what it was, but Paul talks about that, where they would literally like, oh, Jimmy knows a chord. Let's go find it. Get on the bus, take your guitars, and learn a new chord. All right. So, oh, yeah, weird dudes we all have to deal with weird dudes. All right, so we have a 6-9 chord, we have the D9 chord. And so when I'm going from one to the other here, okay, my pinky's tucked down here, and then when I move up, I take my third finger up a string and add my pinky underneath it. That's basically what's happening. All right, and then the next chord is going to be D minor 9ths. So we're leaving these 3 fingers here and moving our first finger down. And this is probably the hardest chord because we have a stretch in between the first and second finger. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the ways we learned before YouTube and before, even having an MP3 and being able to stop a song. I guess a cassette deck was kind of like that. You could hit stop and go rewind. It was a lot easier on a cassette deck. On an album, man, putting that needle down and then trying to find the groove that's like where you left off, you end up with like 18 seconds before you need, you need the next. So you got to listen to 18 seconds of music before it gets to the next note. I remember doing that with like, that's it. No, was it? Yeah. George Benson Breezin'. It's like put the needle down. It's like he does, and I'd be like, shoot, what was it? And then you have to listen to the whole song, and you get to, I must have listened to that intro 1,000 times. Stupid thing. And then I would go, oh, next note. Okay, find the next note. I didn't. My ear wasn't very good. Obviously, this is how I got my ear pretty good. Was just doing takedowns of songs. Doing. And I think I wrote it out in music. I mean, all the stuff I have, the Charlie Parker stuff that I transcribed, it's not tab. I didn't do tab back then. Really wasn't a thing until I started teaching. Yeah, totally. I have records that totally the grooves are worn out because I played them so much. And Breezin' was one of them. I think I had to actually buy a new album because it was just getting so scratchy. Good morning, Sco. But yeah, it was literally that big of a pain to do that. And figuring out single notes is easier than figuring out chords. But you've got, in diatonic, in Western music, you have 12 major triads and 12 minor triads. That's 24 chords, okay? Well, if you know what key the song is in, then typically, if it doesn't go outside the key, and the Beatles would go, do substitutions all the time, but if it didn't go outside the key, you only have 6 possible chords, 3 major and 3 minor, and you can put those in order. Like the 1 chord is probably going to happen, the 4 chord and the 5 chord, and maybe the 6, but the 2 and the 3 might not. So if you can figure out the key of a song, you can almost immediately eliminate, out of the 24 chords, you could probably eliminate as many as 20 chords. And that makes it a lot easier to go, okay, that's going by. So the first, well, it's in the key of C. Let me try C. Oh, that's it. Okay. And then it'd be the F chord. Nope, because A minor. No. Oh, that's it. Yeah, the 5 chord. Okay. So knowing a little bit of theory can make you pretty dangerous in that regard. All right. And one of the best ways to figure out the key of a song, you start with the bass note. You don't need to start playing chords, because it may be a weird like D flat, the key of D flat or something like that. You just listen to the first bass note. Put the record on, whatever. What's the first bass note? What percentage of the time does a song start on the 1 chord? Which the 1 chord would be the key. If it starts on a C chord, it's probably in the key of C. It doesn't have to be. Some songs start on the 5, some songs start on the 4, some songs start on a minor chord. But if you were to add up all the songs in the world, particularly pop songs or rock songs or whatever, the first bass note is probably going to be the root of the key, probably 60% of the time. So that helps a lot too. The other thing, if it doesn't start on the 1, it will often end on the 1. So if it has a last chord, usually, they rarely is on set up the 1 chord and then leave it there. That just sounds wrong. It wants to go to that 1 chord. So that helps a lot for figuring out songs if you can at least get the key, and then you can go, okay, what chords are in that key? And we've talked about that before. But again, it depends on the artist. Some artists don't really have a key songs in their songs, or 1 key. It may be many. The Beatles are that way. A lot of British bands are that way. I think at U2, and Genesis, and the Stones pretty much are in 1 key. Stones songs are almost always blues songs in some way, shape, or form. Like it's a 1-4-5 kind of thing. So that, once you figure out that first chord, you're probably good to go. But they would use the 5 of 5 substitutions sometimes. and things like that, which is totally fun. Like on, was it Brown Sugar? That's I mean, I think they went to like the A chord to the D chord to the, whatever. So, oh, hey, Martian Murray. Good to see you. Okay, so the first chord was the C6-9, which I posted up earlier. Next chord was the D9 chord, okay, the 9th chord. And then we're going to make that minor. So again, my second finger is on the 5th fret of the 5th string. My first finger currently and the D9 chord is on the 4th fret of the 4th string. Third finger is on the 5th fret of the 3rd string, and the pinky is on the 5th fret of the 2nd string. Well, what I'm going to do is to make this a D minor 9, I need to take that F sharp, which is the 3rd. No quiz on this. Take a sip. All right, and move it down a fret, make it an F natural, which makes this. That's the only difference between a major, a 9th chord, D9 and D minor 9. And boy, that's sexy. But here's what happens there. This is a simple version. Right there, we're back in the key of C. So here we think we're in the key of C. We are. But then we get to this D9 chord, and it's a major, kind of a dominant 2 chord. Because if you go up the C scale, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, the D is the 2. 1, 2. Like that. So it's got a major or a dominant 2 chord, which is not normal. Normally the 2 chord is minor. If you want to think about the chords, you can go Here, There, and Everywhere by basically Paul McCartney, but it's just built on the 1, 2, 3, 4 in the key of, I don't know what the original key is, but let's say C. Okay, so the natural occurring 2 chord is minor, but in this bossa vibe, we're using like a D7 or a D9. It has that. Exactly, Sam. So, and the first 2 chords we play for 2 bars, twice. We're only going to do one of those. So again, I'm doing thumb and fingers together. Fingers, thumb, and then fingers. 1 and 2 E. And then what I'm going to do is now remember what we did here where we took the D9 chord and we moved the first finger down. It's actually really brilliant. Not by me. I'm not saying I'm brilliant, but this voicing is really brilliant. Check this out. So now we moved our first finger down. Well, kind of what it was. Here's what happened there. It was like oh, the first finger decided to move to a different neighborhood. And it emailed the second, third, and fourth finger and said, hey, it's not bad over here. Come and check it out. And they all slide down. Okay? Now you won't be able to get that image out of your head. So you're on D9 here, D minor 9, and then you go slide these down, and now this is D flat 9. Okay? So let me write out here in, I guess, typewriter tab, or whatever we're going to call it, D minor 9. And I'm going to put, again, the bass note, because we're going to alternate bass notes in parentheses. So there's D minor 9. And then if you slide those 5s down, you end up with D flat 9. So it would be parentheses 4, 4, 3, 4, 4, X, I think. Yeah. And that's D flat 9. All right? We have 23 people on currently. That's not bad. I wish we had more, but if I did this every day, we'd have 50, 60 people on here. And then we're going to go back to the original chord, the C6-9, and then we're going to go back to the D9. So it's, twice on this chord, twice on this chord, once, 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 once. And if you add 2 plus 2 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1, you get 8 bars. So it's an 8 bar or 8 measure phrase. Okay, and this is in 2/4, so it's really 16 beats total. But if you're having a hard time like conceptualizing 16th notes, you could also count, especially if you're playing slow, you could play 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, and 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 4. If you didn't want to, you wanted to think eighth notes. Okay, once you have the pattern down, you won't even be thinking about eighth notes or 16th notes or any of that. It'll be motor memory at that point. What my teacher Carl Verheyen would say, he said, get it under your fingers. Now I'm doing it with the anticipation. So that means I'm anticipating every chord change and every chord coming up in the next bar. For the first two chords, obviously I stay on for 2 bars, so I'm anticipating it. But I'm anticipating itself here because I'm staying there. All right. All right, so let's see what else. Anybody getting that? Are you playing it? Secondary subdominants, yes. Oh, nice. Moon River is such a great song. Oh, I'm gonna have to check that out. Okay, hold on a second. I won't be able to play it here, but. Okay, there it is. Oh, nice. Okay, I'll check this out. Okay. All right, so I've got it open. Okay, so here's the whole thing. I'm going to make this big again, and I can actually delete this one. Okay, so here's the whole thing. I'm going to just play it. Try to keep my neck down here so you can see it, all right? You don't need to see my face. Just follow along on the tab. You can look at the bottom part or the top part, all right? You can look at the bottom part or the top part. You can see there's the bass notes going. It's all your second finger, too. Oops. That sounds funny by itself. It doesn't sound like anything, right? Also notice I'm playing the chords pretty short. I'm deadening them with the right hand, but also I'm lifting them off here. I'm not going. Which you totally can do. I might do that if it was like kind of loud and I had to be louder. So you can do either. I think the song is new, but I think maybe they did a video. Let me see. I don't have sound on, so I can go pull it up. All right. Get back to my face. All right. Is a yeah, it's just like a cartoon. Oh yeah, this is the cartoon. It's cool. Very cool. Okay, I'm gonna have to check it out. I mean, both are monsters. So sad. It was a shock actually, because he was working, doing new records, doing tours. So many people had just seen him. I never saw Jeff Beck live. There's so many artists I've never seen. Oh, I'm putting down my guitar. I'm done teaching. So if you are here to see the lesson, I probably not. I mean, I may talk about something. Something may come up where it's a teachable moment, as I deem it. But yeah. So yeah, there's so many artists. I mean, I've never seen any of the Beatles. I've told you this story before, where I had a chance. I could have met George Harrison multiple times, and I'm kicking myself for not doing it. He was kind of a attendee or a co-sponsor of an Indian music festival in Pasadena. And the auditorium where it was held, my friend was the stage manager. He said, "Hey, you want to come to the Indian festival? You can make, George Harrison's always there because Ravi Shankar is there, and George is good friends with him, and they always hang out. And George, I think, performs or whatever. In fact, let me look it up and see if there's any videos of him doing it. That would be almost depressing, because I'd be like, dang it, I could have met him, and I could have, but I'm like, at the time, I even now, I mean, I can't really say I'm not a fan of Indian music. I can't really. Hard to say you're not a fan of something you have zero knowledge of. So I've not listened to a lot of Indian music. The bit that I have heard, I'm like, okay. There's some things about it I think are cool and interesting. I know that like the tunings and stuff like that, they'll often like tune their instruments for a specific song or a genre or a style of music is for a specific, like the Schwamendels, which is the that kind of thing. Those I think, I don't know if they change the tune for every song, because there's like a million strings, and it's one of those wrench things. You got to use a wrench to change the tuning. I'm like, I can't imagine you would be sitting around for half an hour waiting for the next tune to start. So I'm not sure how they do that, but true. Let's see if there's anything up here. This is the story of the Beatles, music, yeah, I don't think there's anything up. They probably didn't allow filming. Concert for George. Yeah, that goes way back now. That was 2002. Yeah, so PCC. I don't think PCC will come. No. Yeah. So it was at Pasadena City College. Chance of India. I wonder if, how long is this video? If there's any footage maybe of them together playing. And, oh, well. No, in the studio, but I'm not seeing anything. Yeah, so, yeah, it's studio. And then they're showing like homeless people in India. So, yeah, crazy. Man, that was one that was a shock when he died too. It was like so quick, so early. I wouldn't say it's an Indian. It's Oriental. I like the color. I like the little splash of color, and it's basically the main thing is, and I mean I see all different types of rugs, but I like Oriental rugs. This one is just from Home Depot, but I have some that are actually I've got a guy in Pakistan I buy rugs from on Etsy for the house. We've got runners and different. I think the one under our dining room table is from Pakistan, and it's hilarious because I mean, he's super fast at shipping, but it always gets opened by the by the feds. It's funny because they probably think there's opium in there or something like that, or maybe there is opium in it, and that's why it's so cheap. And they're using my rug to ship opium, and then and then somebody in the postal department is hip to it, and they open it up, take it out, and then sell it. Etsy might be just some kind of big giant drug delivery scheme. Yeah, I have Oriental. My mom had a bunch of Oriental rugs. We have some of those that she bought in Turkey and things like that. I love Oriental rugs. There's something that harkens back, hundreds and thousands of years about them. Even the fake ones, to me, they look good. The main reason I have rug in here is for sound, to cut back on sound reflection. And your neighbor might buy you, Joseph, your neighbor might buy you an Oriental rug or an Indian rug if they want you to be quieter. But that's, yeah, if you get, some people hang them on the walls. They're pretty heavy, so I don't know that I would do that, but I've seen that done in studios and stuff. But yeah, having the rugs around, I've even got a rug down that hallway. I got to get one for this hallway. But everything a little, the more padding, the better. The more less reflective, the better. Like I said, when I'm recording, using my mics and things like that, most of the composers and producers I work for, when I'm recording acoustics, they want me to send a dry signal, meaning they don't want me to put any compression, EQ, reverb, or anything on it. There's a reason for that, and you don't want like 10 different sounding reverbs on a record. You don't want the kick drum going through one reverb and the snare drum going through another reverb. You want continuity. It won't sound good if you do that. And so and the other thing too is, like, sometimes if the piece of music is, like, if I'm playing something in here that's going to be mimicked by someone playing outside in a movie, yeah, to have reverb on that would sound really weird. So I usually send it without any reverb or any effects, but I'll put reverb and compression and stuff like that, not chorus or anything, no delays, just reverb, compression, some EQ. I'll put those on for me, and then when I send them the file, I'll send them the file without any of that stuff. What's my favorite color? I don't think you would know it by this room. I'm actually, I think it's blue. I don't know. My car is dark gray. I would never get a Crayola colored car. Not if you have one, sorry. I just think you would get tired of it. And red cars tend to get pulled over for speeding more. Statistically speaking, it's actually true. Cops just see red cars. Now, it may be something about the personality type of the person that buys a red car tends to speed. That's probably the true correlation, not a built-in prejudice or a built-in stereotype of red cars. So, nice. So, Wendy's favorite color is red. I mean, I should have said green. I'm just kidding. I'm getting messages here. Hold on a second. What's happening? Ba-da-bum-bum. Okay. Was that it? Was that the message I'm getting? I guess so. Let me just make sure I don't have something in my Dropbox. 'Cause composers will put stuff in Dropbox and then they'll go, "Oh, did you see what I put in Dropbox?" I'm like, "No, you gotta email me." Okay, I think we're good. We're good, right? Yeah, all caught up. All right. Yeah. So, go blue. British racing green, exactly. I mean, if I was to get any color car, you know, my favorite car back when I was young, kid, whatever, was like was it a Jaguar or J8 forest green tan interior? I don't know, such a stereotype, but no, it was a pretty cool car at the time. I think Alex is talking about getting like a 90s or 80s SL Mercedes. He really likes the two-door coupes. I think he'd get a. I don't think he'd get a rag top. He'd probably get a hard top that you can take off. I'm not sure if he. Rag tops, they're tough. They're, you know, because it's hard to find one in good condition. Hard to. It's expensive to repair. But I think that's what he's. Oh, yeah. But British racing green is a great color. Yeah. Sherwood green more. Yeah. That's yeah. What's that? Let me look at that up because I forget what Sherwood green looks like. Fender guitar. It's called Sherwood green. Oh yeah, yeah. Is that right? Is that the color? Oh well. Now on the Sweetwater, it's a little more muted than. Yeah, that's not a bad color. Is it sparkle? No, I don't see sparkles. That's not a bad color. And the cool thing about it, it's got the pale green, uh, the pale green pick guard. Here, I'll copy. This won't. If you buy it from here, I don't get anything. I've got the. I've got the. I can create a link for this maybe. Let me copy. I did copy that. Let me here. If you want to buy this guitar, then let me create a link for it that I get a percentage. Let's see. Create links. There we go. Okay. Create. Okay. Copy. All right, let's see if this works. Yeah. So that link actually has my ID in it. In fact, if you use that link, they owe me $14. So if you use that link to buy anything at Sweetwater, I get a percentage of the sale. It's different on every item. It can be as much as 5%. That guitar was $4,000, so 5% of $4,000 is $200. My video I did on when I bought the lute, it was kind of an unboxing thing, and then it took me 10 hours to tune it and then to continue the video. That thing was that video actually has led to 3 or 4 people buying those lutes, and so I've made like every time they buy a lute, I get like $40. It's kind of cool. So I don't know if that lute is still on Amazon. I may have to. What's it called? Rooseneck. Lute instrument. No, that's an oud. Roosbeck 8-course travel lute. Well, that's kind of weird. 8-course. See, I wish I hadn't gotten an 8-course lute. I would have, if I could have done it again, I just would have gotten the 6-course. Easier to play. The 8-course, the neck is too wide. It makes it really hard for me to. Lute for comfortable 1-to-4 ratio. What the heck is this? That's kind of weird. Is that an actual instrument? Is it actually playable? It doesn't look like it. It's just a mini Ruan, but it's like 1/4 size. It's weird. Yeah, they don't really have any. They have the travel lutes, but they're not making the other lutes right now. Probably not easy to make those things. But yeah, that's not a bad color. The Sherwood green. I would play that, especially with that light green pickguard. It's really pretty. Okay. Oh, can I ask about the clock guitar in the back? Oh, the thing with the round thing on it. That's a. Let's see. Do I have a lifter on right now? Oof, it's out of tune. It's a dobro. Actually, technically, this is a resonator guitar. So basically, this predates the electric guitar. Not this one in particular. This is a newer one. Oh, it's good. I pulled it down at the. It's good to tune things every now and then. Yeah, take a sip. Is this the guitar you were talking about? Anyway, yeah, so this is typically used in kind of country music. But basically that's, and I've got some foam here to cut back on the ringing of the strings behind the bridge. The bridge is right here. That's a metal cone. And it resonates. That's why it's called a resonator guitar. It resonates the sound. Again, like I said, these predated electric guitars. They were trying to get acoustic guitars to be louder, and they thought, well, we have speakers. If we mounted the bridge to the center of a speaker, then it would resonate. And it's pretty loud. It could get. I wouldn't say it's louder than a guitar, but it's pretty loud. And I think that's a Boxcar series or something like that. I forget. It's a Gretsch. It's not expensive. I mean, they were probably $400 or $500. You can spend thousands of dollars. I would love to get a really nice dobro. I just don't play it enough to justify it, but I'd love to have a nice mandolin too. But Jerry Douglas, I love his tone. Well, he's an insane player. And so, yeah, it's crazy. So, all right, let's see. Yeah, so the dobros are typically, I mean, I have a square neck dobro. Dobros typically aren't fretted. They're usually slide. Resonators are fretted. So what I do I have a string lifter, right, where is it? That's not it. Somewhere around here. Somewhere. So I loosen the strings, I put it under the saddle, and then I tighten the strings up, and so then the strings aren't touching the frets, and then I can use slide with it. And that's a string lifter. And then it basically turns a resonator into a dobro. So I use it both as a resonator and a dobro. Lap steel is electric, typically. When you say lap steel, you think of typical. Oh, hey, we got someone new. Hello and welcome, Mitya. Where's Mitya? Oh, did they delete their... Or is it further up? Wendy put, oh, you feel fat now? Why do you feel fat? Oh, Mitya. Hey, Hakuna Matata. To you as well. Let's see. Yeah, pizza. Now I'm getting hungry. I'm intermittent fasting, so I can't eat until, what time? I don't think I can eat till, dang it, that's a ways off. I think I can eat at like 2. So it's whenever I stopped eating last night. I think I stopped eating by 7 last night, maybe, or 8. So I'm trying to go 16 hours if I can at least. So anyway, that should define the difference between resonator, dobro, and dobro is technically a brand. I think a resonator is a type. It's like Kleenex and facial tissue. Yeah, yep. I play lap steel on my lap like that, and yeah, and dobro I would play on my lap as well. Yeah, I think I did a video on that. Let's see. Let's save that. Let's see. Go here. Uh, Lifter. Yeah. 2019. Oh, well, that was in here. Okay. So I did this video here on that string lifter. So if you want to, you could do this with an acoustic guitar too. You could take any acoustic guitar and turn it into slide guitar. A lot of lap steel or Hawaiian lap guitars were guitars that never had frets on them. They have fret markers so you can see the lines, but they were always designed like my old Martin that I have is almost to be 100 years old next month or next year. It you'll see a lot of those koa wood Martins that have been converted from the lap steel, and they put frets on them, put a low nut on them so that you can, and the bridge is slightly different. And that's not uncommon to turn those into strumming guitars, just standard guitars. But that was a thing back in the day, 100 years ago, they would do these lap acoustics. So you could turn your guitar, any acoustic, not a nylon necessarily, because I don't think nylon really does well with slide. Better than I thought. Not bad. It's kind of a cool sound. I don't know why I've never done that before. May have to do that. I've actually got on order a fretless banjo, and it comes with nylon strings. So they're back ordered. It's kind of a popular thing all of a sudden. I don't know why, but dang, it drives me crazy. In fact, I need to email them and say, hey, make sure it's the nylon string one. See. All right. So, yeah, yeah, Sam, you can have a couple of them lying around if you want. It's just a great way if you got an acoustic guitar that you're not really using very much, or a junker. You can totally do it without. I'm not gonna. I don't know if it damages. It might scratch your headstock a little bit. I mean, I don't care about that kind of stuff. For my guitars, it's like they're just tools. I expect them to get beat up a little bit. But yeah, oh shoot! You know what I need to do? I'm gonna try. I don't know if I can do it. Okay. Yep. All right. Cool. So, Hawaiian slack key. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what that is. Yeah, and if you're tuning in now, I'm pretty much done teaching this lesson that we did. You'd go back earlier. I taught for the first hour. I tried to get to the teaching right away, as early as I could, and do less talking at the front end and more talking at the back end or whatever. I'm going to try to do that in the future because people get tired of me, yakking and yakking about all sorts of different things and not the subject at hand. And I get that. But I also know that you guys like to hang out and talk and stuff like that. You can brass pipe. Yeah, sockets. I use sockets, glass, bottlenecks. This is a heavy one for lap steel. Yeah, it's and this is a Corseidon bottle, which is what it's actually a blues bottle. It's made to do this, but this is what what's his name? Not Derek Trucks. Well, Derek Trucks I think uses that too, but that's because here's the thing. Beth put this here. Okay, cool. Like I'm looking. I was like, oh, I need to have this. Make sure because I'm going to start playing tennis again. I don't want to have tennis elbow if I can help it. So, Dwayne Allman. Thank you, Sam. Allman Brothers. If I thought of the name of the band, I would have got his name. But Dwayne, yeah, he was the one that kind of. It was actually the story about that is in the movie Muscle Shoals, I think. Muscle Shoals documentary, which is pretty good. It's not bad. I feel like there's a bit of complaining by the owner of the studio or whatever because there was competition and people stabbed him back or whatever. That's not the point of the documentary, fortunately, but it's pretty amazing that a bunch of fat white rednecks played all the greatest R&B hits of our time. So it's just like, what? You're like, wait, what? And even Aretha Franklin, when she saw him, was like, wait, where are the musicians? It's like, it's like, they're the ones playing on Respect, and and they play on the song When a Man Loves a Woman, the original recording, and so many great classic songs were played by the Muscle Shoals. The musicians at Muscle Shoals. Yeah, so, but what's this here? Soul music in particular. See if they have a list here of songs. Percy Sledge, When a Man Loves a Woman. I've Never Loved a Man by Aretha Franklin. Brown Sugar by the Stones. I Take You There by the Staple Singers. I mean, come on. Some great songs. Yeah, I think she did Respect there too. Etta James, Tell Mama. Allman Brothers. And that's kind of all. I think Dwayne was really sick or something, and Sticky Fingers was recorded there. Freebird was recorded there. So, the Southern Rocks thing kind of started there. It was kind of the epicenter for the Southern Rock thing. It's a good documentary. Yes, the great slide music in that doc. Yeah, for sure. Well, yeah, the vintage authentic ones. The beauty of buying these that are designed to be slides is you can get them custom fit. So this one, I don't think I have a. But you can see how big it is compared to a capo. It's got to be as wide as the guitar. So you can get different sizes there so it doesn't get stuck on your finger. It'd be bad. But yeah, it's, I can let me pull up the let me pull it up on Amazon, and I can send you a link. What is it called? A blues bottle? Yeah, blues bottle. 274 is the one. Oh, does it have the size on there? Mine says regular large, whatever that means. Blues bottle. 275. 271, 275. Derek Truck's signature blues bottle, slide large. You can get that one. So yeah, this is basically copy, and I get a commission from this. But you can check it out there, and then probably below are going to be other versions of that. You can't have too many slides. They all have a different sound. You know, I don't have any ceramic slides. I should probably get a ceramic slide. A lot of people swear by those. I tend to use the brass. I used to use because of Sonny Landreth, I used to use the socket, the Craftsman. And the great thing about that is if you break it, you get it. They replace it. So I've never broken a Craftsman. But this is just a pure glass slide. And then this probably came about though after this. But bottlenecks came out. Where's my bottleneck? Yeah, so here's a bottleneck. You can see it literally is a bottleneck. It's a wine bottle on the top of it, and then they cut it off, and you can see I chipped it. This was in my guitar case, which is why I no longer keep glass slides in my guitar case. I think I cut my finger on this, on the piece of glass that was in the case. I didn't know it was in there. But I don't really use this one anymore. I think my fingers got too fat. Yeah, here's a Craftsman. And the great thing about this is you can custom size it, so whatever size works for you. It's basically for taking out spark plugs or whatever. And at the time, I think you could get these for like $4. Whereas if you bought a slide, they'll charge you $20 for it. It's kind of like, never let them know you're buying stuff for a wedding, or they'll quadruple the price. This is a saxophone cover, mouthpiece cover. It's not thick enough. This actually belonged to my friend Danny in my band, but I don't have a guitar to try it on, but it doesn't really work. More glass slides of various lengths and thicknesses. Yeah, I should order a ceramic slide at some point. Large. Just put this one in there. There's some that they're pretty like ceramic slides that are pretty expensive too. You can spend a lot of money on a ceramic slide. All right. Well, I'm going to take off. Martian, what you guys? I like Blackman ring slide. Yeah, I've got that too somewhere. Not here. I've got it's in the drawer. Yeah, I never really got used to that. I mean, I think if you really were playing, if I were playing live and doing a lot of that kind of stuff, and I'm going back and forth between slide, yeah, I would try to get good at that. But it does it. So what it is, let's see if I find it. I know I have one. It's a great concept. Let's see. Oh, here it is. Yeah. Basically, you put this on, and so it's on your hand, and when you need it, you just spin it around and play some slide with it. And then you spin it back around, and it's got different plastic inserts, so you can have it custom fit to your finger, and then it spins on that plastic insert. So it's not a bad. Conceptually, I could see where it would be good. I don't like having it on my hand when I'm trying to, And then somehow you got to flip it around. I guess you can flip it around with your thumb, or maybe some people, if I used it every day, I would get good at it, flipping it around. Yeah, but, yep. Yeah, I mean, the slides are one of those cheap things you can buy and have like different kinds and go, oh, okay, I like the sound of this one, or experiment. I got a preacher's pipe for Judith Hill, who's an artist that I gave. She's the daughter of two friends of mine, Pee Wee and Michiko Hill, and she's an artist, and she's been touring all over the world. She's just in New Zealand and Hawaii and Australia and Copenhagen and Paris and Germany and Italy. I mean, she's just all over the place. Switzerland. And I gave her first couple guitar lessons, and now she's playing guitar in her show, and like pretty good. She's like a pretty decent blues guitar player. She's really good musician, a really good piano player, songwriter, singer, amazing singer. So for her, it's just an extension of that. So once she got proficient enough on guitar, she was able to do whatever she heard. She was able to kind of do. I think her fingers are starting to actually get dexterous enough to play guitar. Not as good maybe as she could play piano. I think she was a classically trained pianist, but yeah, you can check her out. Judith Hill. You might dig her. And she was supposed to sing. She was the last person to sing and dance with Michael Jackson before he died, because she was supposed to do that tour. And then Prince, she became good friends with Prince, and he produced a record. They produced a record together and all sorts of stuff. So that's, yeah, pretty crazy. Okay. Yeah, I have the small slides aren't bad too, because I don't know how often you play the bottom strings. Although if you're in an open tuning, I might do a lot of the, like if I'm an open D, I might use the bottom three strings because it makes a power chord. So, all right, Sadie. Yeah, goodbye. She's already gone. I'm going to sign off now, but thanks so much for watching. I'll talk to you later. I'm going to watch that Eric Clapton video because I want to hear that song with Jeff Beck, and then. So I'll see you in 3 weeks. I'm not going to be able to do the next couple Mondays, but maybe I'll log in at some point and do a live stream at some point, but during that period. But I doubt it. So anyway, and I'm probably going to do something different when I get back online. I'm not sure. I'll enjoy no, I'm not. I'm gonna miss the time with you guys. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what we're gonna do. If you got any suggestions, maybe throw them up on Discord, and I'll try to check them out. Okay, and see what there's probably some questions up there I haven't answered. I should probably go do that too. So, but I'll keep tabs on that at some point, and maybe I can formulate a lesson plan or something. Free, or do something free form. But anyway, what are we going to do? We're in a tight spot. All right. God bless you, everyone. See you soon. Bye.